Hello. No, I was hoping you might be able to help me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's class session at Baka to Basics, where we move on to our third topic in this 5-class series, diving into and breaking down the main demographic types of anime and manga. In this session, we'll be diving into the Seinen demographic, detailing its meaning, origins, and current impact on modern culture. So with that out of the way, I'm Summers from Baka to Basics, and this is Introduction to Seinen. Class is officially in session. If the shonen demographic is tailored to a younger male audience using wondrous adventure and boyhood-like charm, then seinen can be looked at as having a more mature, gruff, and sometimes painful storytelling style. These works are typically targeted at an 18 to 30-year-old male audience, but the audience can be older, with some comics aimed at businessmen well into their 40s. In Japanese, the word seinen means young man or young men, and is not suggestive of sexual matters. It has come to be defined by a wide variety of art styles, and more variation in subject matter, ranging from the avant-garde to the pornographic. Seinen manga is further distinguished from shonen or boys manga by having a stronger emphasis on realism. Because of the emphasis on storyline and character development instead of action, some seinen series are often confused with shoujo or girls manga. This is especially true of seinen comedy series, such as Chobits and Chi's Sweet Home, or seinen drama such as Twin Spica. A common way to tell if a manga is seinen is by looking at whether or not furigana, a Japanese reading aid consisting of smaller kana or syllabic characters, printed either above or next to kanji, logographic characters, or other characters to indicate their pronunciation is present. If there is a furigana on all kanji, the title is generally aimed at a younger audience. Confusing to be sure, but this is how this is usually told apart. Before the true beginning of seinen publications, however, we have Weekly Manga Times, first released in 1956, which was aimed squarely at middle-aged men, featuring erotic fiction and manga that would at times concern tales of Yakuza. It was then in 1959 that two of the main shonen manga publications appeared, Weekly Shonen Magazine and Weekly Shonen Sunday. In 1967, the first of these magazines aimed at younger men or the seinen demographic appeared, Weekly Manga Action. Weekly Manga Action scored big hits with titles such as Lupin III, Lone Wolf and Cub, and later Crayon Shin-chan. Big Comic followed in 1968, perhaps best known for its series Go-Go 13, written and illustrated by Takao Saito. Go-Go 13 follows the title character, the professional assassin for hire. Go-Go 13 is currently the world's oldest manga still in publication, and was certified by Guinness World Records as the highest number of volumes for a single manga series. Sato said before his death in 2021 that he wanted his manga to continue on without him, and previously raised concerns the manga may be unfinished after he passes away. The Saito production group of manga creators will continue its publication with the assistance of Big Comic's editorial department. Going back though, the year 1972 saw the addition of Big Comic Original, which featured Tsuribaka Nishi, a manga about two older men who enjoy fishing, which would later be made into a series of popular movies. And finally, in 1979, after seeing how successful the demographic was becoming, the publisher Shueisha, known for Weekly Shonen Jump for teen boys, entered the seinen market with Weekly Young Jump. It was in 1989, however, when what is widely regarded as the greatest seinen manga of all time would be created, Kentaro Miura's masterpiece Berserk. Berserk is a story that openly explores a wide range of themes and topics. Free will, destiny, and causality are routinely discussed within the series, with sheer human resilience as a reoccurring main focus, with many characters coming from horrible backgrounds, constantly struggling against an unjust world. Berserk's main character, Guts, struggles with the very concept of destiny itself, and is continuously resisting the pull of predetermination. The series also decides to explore human nature and morality, as characters struggle between striving to become better human beings or succumbing into an unrelenting madness. Guts at the beginning of the story is presented as an anti-hero who does not care about killing and is indifferent to people who aid him. He does not act in accordance with definitions of right and wrong. He operates within a gray area and does not attempt to be heroic or protect the innocent. However, as the story progresses, it is shown that he is in fact a person who is deeply conflicted internally. This story is way too wonderfully complex and well written for me to do it justice here during this video, so I simply ask if this interests you to go check it out for yourself. Sadly, however, Kentaro Miura passed away before his life work could be finished, and has been deemed by many to stay that way, seeing as how the story and art style were all of his own.
Hi, Johnny here. You're not supposed to hear from me, but this was recorded before Studio Gaga announced that they will be continuing the Berserk manga. The students of Miori will be doing all the artwork. They helped out with the manga in the previous iterations and will be continuing doing them in the future. The story will be supervised by Koji Mori. He will be only writing what he remembers clearly from what Miori said to him and described to him, and will not be doing much from what he was told. Now back to your summers.
Now, switching gears here, I'm sure some of you noticed that we have mostly been talking about the manga side of Seinen, whilst neglecting anime, and that happens to be for good reason. Now, while all Seinen don't fall under this category, many of the Seinen works are simply deemed to be too distinctly stylized or touch on more sensitive source material that studios would rather not touch. Berserk, for what it's worth, gave it a couple of tries, but they range from solid to, well, not. If you look at the most popular, well-received Seinen anime, they are original properties. Shows that don't come from a source material, but rather are made first as a show. The medium simply doesn't always translate over very well because, again, the subject matter and subsequent styles of art just are better suited as manga. For instance, look at these panels from the immensely talented Takehiko Inoue's Vagabond. They have such a uniquely drawn and meticulous style, with some downright gorgeous still one-shots going over the entire page. Going back to Berserk, we can compare these two shots, one from the manga and one from the anime adaptation. They aren't necessarily bad, but they don't do the source material the justice it deserves. That isn't to say all the adaptations are bad, however. Amazon Prime's adaptation of Makoto Yukimura's Vinland Saga got rave reviews from its first season, finding a perfect balance with its heavier subject matters and use of violence by using solid animation as well as telling the story at a steady pace, allowing the characters time to develop the way the manga does. But in general, this is more of an outlier of the group rather than the norm. In closing, the seinen genre is a very vast and intensely mature demographic that tends to more closely align with the interests of an older audience. The subject matter, overarching themes, discussions held, sometimes sexually explicit, and many outrageously violent and cruel tellings of what these characters go through simply won't be for everyone. But they have shown throughout the years to have immense staying power, and are a welcome addition to those who want a more adult-centered story that still encapsulates what entertains us so much about manga and anime. That's all I have for today's session. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Also, leave a comment down below about how you got into seinen anime and manga, and leave a suggestion for others to watch or read. I've been Summers with Bakuto Basics. See you next time that class is in session.